Miami, fire. Miami's fire. That's one hell of a catchy song. Every time I hear it, it's not a song that I look up or have added or I play when I don't hear it. But when I hear it on Real Housewives of Miami, I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of catchy. This is kind of catchy. Okay. And I keep telling you that Adriana is an onion. There's just so much more to her. When they ask her during this F Cancer event to play this opera song, and she gets there and she twinkles the notes, and I'm like, okay, Adriana, she's an onion. And look, this season, everyone brings something. Every single person on this cast, no one is bigger than the other. I have to say, I did miss my Marisol in the first 24 minutes. I did count. All right? Marisol, no. Y'all can't hold Marisol back towards the end of the episode. Marisol, whatever you did this season, there's some sort of refresh that you did. I don't know if it's something if it's different makeup, even though she just looked good since the return. But this season, even her new confessional look, I'm like, Marisol, what does Marisol do now? Because I know she was in public relations for a long time when we were first introduced to her, but I believe that company's no longer here. We also keep in mind, Marisol very much, I don't know about the other ladies on how involved they are in the social scene of Miami. I know some of them are, but Marisol definitely was involved in the Miami social scene, especially back in the day with the Versace's and things like that were hanging in Madonna. So that's why she gets all the tea in regards to what's going on in Miami with all the ladies. And I'm sure there's a lot that she knows that she doesn't say. But I really missed my little Marisol in the beginning of the episode. But Marisol made an excuse, and that's why she wasn't at the F Cancer event. And to be honest with you, you know, I've shaded Juliana. I keep calling her Juliana. Julia and her singing, and I was like, I don't want to hear this anymore after today. But I have to say, seeing Martina's reaction, because Martina's usually very stoic. But I think Martina, us being introduced to Martina on this reality show, I think have changed our opinions in some way about her. She's still very stoic, but her reaction to Julia going up there and singing, I was like, oh, this is actually something that she really not wanted necessarily, but was truly touched by. And I was like, go back and watch that scene and look at Martina's eyes and how she was like, oh my God, who is this? And look, Julia's voice was not the best, okay? But to be a fantastic opera singer takes years of training, years of a special diet. So please understand, she's done this for the last few weeks to prepare for this moment. And that's why she missed Martina's last cancer treatment. Honestly, I don't even think that was a good excuse. Come on. You could have, any excuse is better than none. You could have made it to her last treatment and you could have practiced. But okay, Martina's okay with it. But the way that we ended last week's episode, we ended with Lisa FaceTiming the group and letting them know that she had to call the police. And we were like, is this because she put the recording device in the car? Apparently not. Apparently not. But before we get into any of that, guys, don't forget to like the video if you're watching this. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating because it matters. If you haven't noticed, we've been giving you a lot of content on multiple platforms, but a lot of you have been asking for the audio version of a lot of what we do here, especially our live recaps. But please understand, just because it's audio versions of what you can see here on YouTube doesn't mean that we don't add special last-minute thoughts. During our Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap, I was like, well, I forgot to mention something. So I added a few more minutes to that recap. So don't miss out on anything. So be sure to subscribe to Kempire on your favorite podcast platform, specifically our Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. All right, let's get into a countdown and then let's get into this Real Housewives of Miami recap.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, Just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow my lady. Just watch the shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, don't forget to share this live. Don't forget to rate and review us on the podcast. Don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend. You are almost at 330,000 subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, as you can see, we are still celebrating the holidays here in the studio and doing our 12 days of giveaways. Shout out to everyone that has already won a little something from us here over at the Kempire. And as always, don't forget, and if you're listening to this, head on over to our YouTube channel and you can check out our last couple of videos. We are raising $1,000 for Toys for Tots. Let's help a child get a little something this holiday season. Toys for Tots has been around for years, and they've been making Christmas and the holidays a miracle for a child that may not have been able to have a holiday without your help. So whatever you can do, even if that means sharing a video and asking someone that you know can help to donate. All right, so let's get into the Real Housewives of Miami recap. Okay. Look, Miami and Beverly Hills air on the same night. It's hard to do a recap for those. You already know on Mondays, you're already jam-packed with doing 2 recaps in one day. But I kind of like to keep to our schedule because when Miami was on Peacock, we would recap it on Fridays. So I want to keep up with that, okay? I hope you're okay with it. Apparently you guys are because you always come to check out, and I appreciate the support. So let's start off. So they're still at this F Cancer event. Julia goes up there to perform. This is all, you know, they recap what's happening with Lisa, but Lisa's on her way. So Julia goes up, you know, they start the surprise. They have to start. They can't wait on Lisa. But Lisa does come in while Julia's performing. Martina is sort of just looking up at Julia like, she loves that woman. They've been together for 15 years. I always forget how long they've been together. That's a long time to be with someone. So she looks up at Julia. I still feel like Julia could do better. But I think because they love each other and because Martina loves Julia so much, she sort of lets Julia be who she is and forget things like her last day of treatment. But I feel like you could have did both. I really do feel like she could have did both. But look, do I think that Julia is mean-spirited? Do I think that Julia doesn't care about Martina? No, but I do think Julia, you could make a little bit more of an effort to be there for Martina. And I know you probably were there for Martina. I'm talking to her. I know you were probably there for Martina during the whole cancer situation. Look, I'm not taking away from that, but I do feel like there are moments that you could step up. You could have been there for her last treatment. Just saying. Just saying. So Lisa joins the group and she tells the group what happened at the house and why she had to call the police. Well, we find out she had to call the police. Apparently, Lenny came into the room when she wasn't dressed appropriately, and it's the room that she has been designated, I guess. I don't know if they're both living in the house. Anyways, he comes there, and his hateful mother, because you remember the mother was all about Lisa when they first split. But the mother, and I told you this, I feel like the mother and the father are taken care of by Lenny. Plus, that's also their child. They're always going to pick their child over you, Lisa. But this mother is so damn hateful. She's just like, oh, I forgot her exact words, but basically like, oh, I can't wait for you to get out of this house. And that other woman's going to be a better mother to those children than you. Mind you, the kids apparently are hearing this. Like, you're the grandmother and you're saying this hateful stuff to Lisa. And I'm not saying like Lisa's an angel because I'm going to get you together, Lisa, in just a moment. But Lenny is trash still. But here's the thing, Lisa. Here's the thing, Lisa. You knew he was trash. We all have said it. This is not new to us. We're not surprised by the turn of events. We're just surprised at how bad Lenny went. How bad he went. And do I really think that this other woman is going to be a better mother to these children than Lisa? No. Look. No. No, I don't think she's necessarily a terrible person besides a husband stealer. Okay, I'm being facetious. Look, no one can steal your husband without his permission. I mean, her morals and integrity is another thing in question. But look, not everybody has morals and integrity, especially in Miami. Hey, Miami. Look, shout out to Florida. Anytime I see a story about Florida, I know it's going to be a mess. I don't know how y'all deal with it down there. I kid. Maybe? Look, maybe? All right, let me take a sip from my coldest water bottle. All right. So she tells them what went down between them, and that's why they called the police, only for Lenny to, because Lenny's been speaking to the blogs and speaking to the media and using the media to paint a different narrative about Lisa. And apparently Lenny is trying to sue her for defamation for accusing him of abuse because she posted pictures of her bruised up, and she claimed he did that to her. I believe Lisa. I believe her. Like, I know Lisa's not perfect. Look, I keep saying that. I know she's not perfect, but I believe her. Because, Lenny, you show all the signs of somebody that's trash. Look. So I believe her. I don't know. I wasn't there. But, and it's hard to prove defamation. So suing her right now, you're already in the middle of a divorce. Just be clean with this whole situation. I feel like Lenny gets off of this whole divorce situation, having these two women subsequently sort of like fighting over him or fighting. They're not fighting over him, but in a way they are, because she's not letting this situation go. She's not just getting out of this marriage easily. She's like, no, you're going to pay me. I was married to you for 15 years. F a prenup. But she's moved out. But Larsa, again, I feel as if you have so much sympathy for Lisa, and obviously because you guys have a deeper friendship than you have with Guerdy. However, it's like, just because I don't like someone or just because I'm not as friendly with someone doesn't mean I can't find empathy or a sensitivity to what they're going through. But the way that she treats Lisa in this moment versus how she treated Guerdy, I'm just like, and she makes every excuse for why she did what she did to Guerdy. All right, let's talk about that. So Larsa and Guerdy get into it a little bit during this F Cancer event, but Guerdy's just like, I don't understand how you feel like it's okay to share this information with everyone else when I told you specifically not to do that. Larsa then says, you never told me not to tell anyone. Larsa. And Dr. Nicole brings up the whole connotation that Larsa was making. That is this made up? Because when she heard Guerdy said that you were testing, she was testing Larsa. So she's like, so is it not real? But immediately Larsa does not want to engage in this. Guerdy calls her a pathological liar. She says that Lisa wouldn't like it because Lisa tries to defend her, because that's also, they have a friendship. So Lisa tries to defend her, and Guerdy's like, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that. You wouldn't like it if she had done something like that to you. And I agree with Guerdy. Lisa, fall back. Stop making excuses for it. You could say, I don't think she meant it maliciously, which Alexia has said. But when Guerdy says, this is how it made me feel, I told her specifically not to say anything to anyone. And she made jokes about telling TMZ. So she knew it wasn't something that you share with anyone. Larsa's like, were you not going to tell them? Yes, Larsa, she was going to tell them. But can she tell them on her own time? Maybe she wanted to tell more of her family before she tells the rest of the group, because she's not as close to the rest of the group as she is with the other ladies in the group. And look, I just can't believe that Larsa is still trying to make excuses for what she did instead of just owning it and apologizing. Even Kiki feels that way. Kiki's just like, I just don't understand. Because later when Kiki says this, I just don't understand why she just doesn't apologize and own it. Because she wouldn't like it if someone did that to her. Okay. Martina at the F Cancer event makes a speech, and she says that I really thought that you were going to speech therapy. She really was in her head. I see improvements with the way that you're speaking. Oh, woo, 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 Martina, woo, woo, woo. But she was really touched by what Julia did for her. All right. All right. So moving on from there. I have to say, this episode of Miami, I was just like, by the end of it, I was like, this is good. They're having a good season. They've had a good past couple of seasons. I'm glad that they came back. And sometimes you do need a little bit of a break. And so you can figure out a cast and then bring them back. And I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen with Atlanta. Take a little bit of a break, figure out what this cast is going to look like. Would it be a mix of old and new? I'm here for it. I feel like it's worked with Miami. A complete reboot like they did in New York. I don't see them doing that because we've said before how hard it was for them to cast for season 14. So I don't see that happening, but we shall see. I feel like it's working in Miami, but what also is working in Miami, these folks, although they're not deep friendships, there's connections with all of them. And I can tell that the newbies have really formed a friendship and they're really hanging out with each other outside of the show. All right. So Guerdy is done with Larsa, and she's like, I'm leaving. I don't want to deal with this. First of all, Larsa walked away first, saying that she was leaving because she couldn't find it in herself to just apologize to Guerdy. So she says, I'm leaving. She doesn't leave. She asks Marcus to come behind her. And then Guerdy's just like, she gets frustrated with Lisa defending Larsa. And she's like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm leaving. So Guerdy leaves. She apologizes to Martina and Julia for, what went down because she didn't want to ruin their event. All right. So the next scene that we get to see, which I love, every season, can someone be looking for an apartment? Because I love looking at real estate in Miami. I'm not so much interested in real estate in LA or California, although it's nice. I loved, $1 million listing New York, which they need to bring back as well. But I like looking at real estate in Miami. Bravo. We might need to do a $1 million listing Miami. I'm surprised we haven't. Did they work on that before? I wonder. And if not, they need to. Because I can enjoy that. Anyway, so back to Lisa, Larsa, and Adriana, because at the party they were saying we got to get Lisa out of there. And I agree. I just don't trust Lenny. You see how volatile this situation got? Like, I wouldn't be able to close my eyes at night knowing that this man has access to me, especially with the way that things went down. So Lisa, Larsa, and Adriana, which I'm glad. I'm glad Adriana went there because normally she wouldn't be hanging out with these ladies like that. But I'm glad that Adriana was there. So they go apartment shopping and they're looking at a $6.9 million apartment. Look, I already knew going into this that this was just a scene because we already know that Lisa's not going to be able to afford a $6.9 million apartment. I don't know how much she has, but I do know that whatever she's going to have as her own will be from what she gets from this divorce. I don't know what she had before this. I know she's been hustling in order to make her own money now. Okay? Lisa, I don't know why you weren't thinking about your FU fund years ago. You were married to Lenny for 15 years. You could have been... Look, and to be honest with you, look, I'm sure her material stuff, her gifts and bags and jewelry and things like that from Lenny is worth money, not $6.9 million, I'm sure. But she should have been working on her FU fund a long time ago. What's an FU fund? Meaning that she should have been storing cash in a separate account that he didn't know about. So when he started acting like a fool, homegirl, come on, you don't have an FU fund? I mean, I don't need an FU fund at this point. I got my own money. But if you are living the life of a sugar baby, come on, let's be honest. And see. If you're living the life of a sugar baby, you should be storing, when he gives you a little cash, okay? When he gives you a little cash, you put that into a separate account every single week. But here's the thing. That means you have to have some sense. And some people that are sugar babies, no offense, they don't have that common sense. They don't have that strategical mind to be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna because if she was hustling like that or had that sense in her head, she would have been doing that years ago. And I'm not saying that she doesn't, because she doesn't seem to be hurting, and she has already moved on to a man that has his own. Shout out to Jody. That whatever he did to Adriana's old home, it looks beautiful, and he makes his own money. He has his own money. They thought that was his Rolls Royce. That wasn't his Rolls Royce. She's still driving Lenny's Rolls Royce. She's like, it's ours. No, it's not. It's Lenny's. I'm sorry, Lisa. That's Lenny's. Unless you get it in the divorce, it's not yours. I mean, she should get a car in the divorce, though. She should, so she can, drive her kids around. So, so they go shopping. They go look at the $6.9 million apartment. I have to say, look. Hear me out. I was looking at the $6.9 million apartment with $4,800 a month HOH fees. And I'm thinking to myself, these rooms are kind of small for $6.9 million, but it is Miami. It's kind of like New York. You don't get a lot for your money. I mean, you probably get more in Miami for your money than New York. But I'm looking at this. I was like, this is okay, we have to learn that we don't call the primary room, the primary suite anymore, a master, Lisa. I know that's what people have said for years, and I'm sure some people still say that. But no, that's no longer politically correct. I'm not going to go into it, but it's no longer politically correct to use master suite. It is the primary suite. But the primary suite was so small. I was like, wait. But I love to look at real estate. In another life, not another life, maybe another portion of the brand, I would love to do a show just about property. Right? Look, Miss Brooklyn, Brooklyn Star, all my Brooklyn screen names. We love to talk about property. We need another reality show about property. I miss talking about property. Ladies who list Atlanta, come on. I don't think that's coming back, y'all. But I love that show. And I love real estate, and I love looking at this place. But Larsa's like, well, I think you need to be a little bit more conservative with what you're going to buy. You can say a lot about Larsa, and we do. But she was no dummy in this divorce. She walked away with a pretty penny, and she's doing well for herself. And the fact that she has to reel her friend in and say, you might need a little something more conservative than this. But I feel like Lisa wasn't really looking at a $6.9 million apartment. She just wanted to look for cameras, which is fine. It's a beautiful apartment. I have to say, the rooms weren't impressive to me. Look, we're talking about property. The rooms were not impressive to me, but the outside spaces were really beautiful. And it was like over 5,000 square feet. It's a big place. The rooms felt small though, but maybe just the way that it was filmed. I wasn't impressed with the rooms, but I definitely liked the place. $6.9 million. Maybe you can get like a 2-bedroom here in New York for that. No, you can already get something. It depends on where it is in New York. But that's a lot. That's a lot of money. I don't think she has that. I honestly don't think she's going to even get anything close to that in her divorce settlement. I don't know, but I have a feeling no. I mean, I actually hope for Lisa that she did, but I don't think she's going to get that. I mean, in my dreams for Lisa, he would have to buy her a multi-million-dollar condo. She says she likes condos. I like a condo too. Dealing with a house and everything that comes with a house is annoying. But in a condo, they deal with all that stuff. You have a doorman. I don't think she has a doorman in this one. Oh, maybe she does. She had a separate entrance. I mean, I wouldn't look when I get a little coin. I wouldn't mind having a little apartment in Miami. I don't like Miami like that. Sorry, Miami, but I have a lot of family and stuff like down in South Florida. I haven't been to South Florida in years, but I like Miami. I think it's a nice place to go if you need a break from the cold weather. It is frigid here in New York City. But it's a nice place to go if I've digressed a lot. It's okay. But this is what we love about Miami. This is what we love about watching Miami. We get this experience like we're catapulted to a different place and a different time and a different feeling. And a lot of you say, this is what you watch Real Housewives for. I don't necessarily watch Housewives necessarily for the luxury and things like that. For me, that's a great portion to certain cities like Miami, but I'm okay with someone with a small house As long as they're funny, as long as they're entertaining, I don't need the glitz and the glam. But that's me. I'm a Taurus, so that makes sense. Okay? We do like luxury. So when we see it, we're like, oh, okay. All right. All right. We find out during this scene that Lenny texts Elisa and he says that he's going to see the kids and for her to stay away. He is so terrible. He is so terrible. She's like, where am I supposed to go? And then she's like, I'll just go to my room. So the ladies also discuss what's going on with Guerdy and Guerdy being angry at Larsa and Lisa. Larsa says that Guerdy was going to tell the ladies anyway, so she doesn't see why Guerdy is so upset. Lisa says that she's talking about this trip that she's planning for the group to Palm Beach. And she says she's working on a scent. And one of the things that I did notice that she did, I saw a commercial that she did, was that home scent thing. So now she I guess, asked them, can I create my own scent? So she's going to Palm Beach to work on her own scent. So she wants to do like a little bit of a girls trip with the ladies so that she can do this. Have you guys ever tried? I've seen on TikTok them promote the same company. I like a nice little scent, but at the same time, I'm like, what's in it? I also don't love to have like chemicals in the air like that either. I got air purifiers and things like that. So I'm just sort of like, what's exactly in it? And does it smell really good? If you go to certain hotels and it smells like, it's like, what is the... I'm trying to think of a hotel where I've gone where I've had that. But I love that, where it smells like luxury. I love a good cologne. Look, I love a good cologne. So she talks to the ladies about that, and she's going to do a girls trip. And Larsa's like, can I bring Marcus? And Lisa's like, I would love to bring Jody, but it's a girls trip. It's a girls trip. All right, guys, if you're just joining us, and if you're watching this, be sure to like the video. Be sure to share the video. And if you're listening to this, be sure to subscribe to the Kempire YouTube channel as well, because I know some of you just listen to the podcast or some of you just watch us on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and give us a 5-star rating. Don't forget that part. And be sure to subscribe to the Kempire YouTube channel, because there's a lot of content that you're getting on both platforms that are different. Especially, I engage with a lot of you guys on our community tab, and I just learned on Spotify I can engage with you there. So I'm going to start engaging everywhere. I'm engaging, unlike Meredith Marks, who's disengaging. Okay? All right. And 'tis the season, we are celebrating the holidays here on the Kempire YouTube channel. So another reason for those of you that are listening to this to make sure that you're subscribed and that you're getting involved. And yesterday we did a 2 giveaway for Amazon gift cards to our watchers and listeners and things like that. So we're going to do it again. Let's do it again. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Fa la 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 la. So I want to do that again. So here are the rules. You have to be a subscriber. We are checking. You have to be a subscriber. And for those that are listening to this, we're going to give you an opportunity to have time to listen to this episode and then go to our YouTube channel. So we'll be picking the winner on Saturday. All right. So head on over to our YouTube channel under the Real Housewives of Miami recap and let us know your thoughts on the episode and that you want to be entered into Kempire's Christmas 12 days of giveaways. Okay. I love Christmas. I love giving. I don't necessarily love getting gifts, to be honest with you, because I feel like a lot of people buy things just to buy things and they don't put a lot of thought into it. If you buy anything for me, I want people to put thought into it. Like, it has to make sense. I don't need another tchotchke or something like. I mean, I love an ornament, like a good one. Look, a good one. Like, that's from Denmark. Remember when I went to Denmark for the holidays? I completely forgot. Even this is from Denmark. I got a lot of really cute ornaments in the airport, and I completely forgot. So it was like Christmas opening some of these packages that I put in my ornament cases. I was like, oh, I forgot. I have ornaments from Germany. I have a few ornaments from Amsterdam. And for me, I kind of look at them and I'm like, oh, I remember this. So for me, that's the best gift for me, memories like that. But I also love giving. I love giving. So that is what we are going to do. Live chat. We do a lot of giveaways for the live chat. We did one yesterday, but we'll get back to it. It's still 12 days of giveaways. Sometimes it's longer than that, which is fine. But Stay tuned, live chat. You will get something, but you got to stay locked. You got to be here. And I want to also get to the replay crew because I know they feel like I miss out. I'm at work. Well, this is your opportunity, replay crew. Be sure to let us know that you want to enter in the comments section that you would like to be a part of Kempire's Christmas 12 days of giveaways. And happy holidays. You know, Hanukkah begins tonight, right? Hanukkah begins tonight. So be sure to, if you celebrate, happy Hanukkah. And if you don't celebrate, happy holidays, regardless. Merry Christmas, all the good stuff. I just hope everyone has a fantastic holiday season, winter season, whatever it may be. So let's get back into this recap of the Real Housewives of Miami. All right. Kiki, Marisol. So the ladies all go to Jody's house. All right. They all go to Jody's house. Oh, wait, rewind. I completely skipped the scene. So Nicole, Alexia, and Julia go to this farm. It really felt like they were in a different place. It didn't look like Miami, but it is Miami. So they go to this place, and Martina says that the opera performance was like the best thing that she ever received ever from Julia or from anyone. Julia, they're going to pick in. Wait, rewind, because I always forget to mention this. Dr. Nicole and her son. The fact that he's speaking more now, he's so adorable. He's so adorable. He is speaking a lot. He's saying funny things. Oh my goodness, I love this. And she did talk about, I believe it was in this scene. Yes, it was in this scene that she talks about, Dr. Nicole, about now they're in the process. She took out her IUD, and now she's going to try and have a baby naturally. If she can't do it naturally, then she'll do IVF, but it looks like she'll be able to do it naturally. So they're going to pick flowers and things like that, sunflowers. But apparently Julia is allergic to bees, and Alexia just doesn't like bees. She's never been stung by a bee. I was stung by a bee when I was a kid, once. I haven't been stung since. But the bees are so important to our environment. So save the bees. Look, don't kill any bees. Save the bees. But Alexia is running from the bees. They're cutting flowers. They sit down, and this is where they have the conversation about Dr. Nicole and her having another baby. This is also, this was also where Julia, because Alexia said she wanted to get to know Julia more and on a more personal level, and she feels like Adriana has been really preventing that. She says that in the scene where Julia and Alexia go shopping. But I was like, let me mention it while I remember. But this is where where Julia asked Alexia, also, on this trip, maybe we can share a room together. And Alexia's just like, oh, I'm going to have to ask Todd for permission, or maybe Marisol for permission. And I was sort of like, I was like, okay. And I thought maybe she was being facetious, especially when she mentioned Marisol. Because I was like, you might really have to ask Marisol for permission. Okay, because that's her best friend. They like to share rooms together. Look, there's a bond there. And it's also hard to share rooms with people that you don't know or are comfortable with. Yes, they're building a friendship, but it's hard to do that. Share a room on a vacation, on a work vacation that you're doing and filming for, especially when you're used to one other person. But the Todd aspect where I have to ask Todd was interesting. And at first I was like, okay, nothing to see here until she says it again later. Okay. So, all right. So the ladies go to, so Kiki, Marisol, and Guerdy have a scene. Kiki says she had some good sex the night before. She had sex twice in one night, and then in the morning. She said she had so much that she might have a bladder infection. And Marisol is just like, oh my God, I don't need to know this, Kiki. Kiki, we didn't need to know this either, but we appreciate your open and honesty. I mean, she's always been like this, so I'm not completely shocked. Maybe I'm desensitized to Kiki in the things that she says. Then Guerdy talked about how she feels like Larsa owes her an apology. And I agree with her. And she doesn't want any excuses from Larsa. She doesn't want, oh, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. Okay? And this is where Kiki says that she does feel like Larsa owes Guerdy an apology because she says that Larsa would be upset if it was the other way around. And I agree. I actually kind of like seeing this scene with Kiki, Marisol, and Guerdy. I was like, I don't know if we've ever seen a scene with the three of them together. I like it. I like it. And mind you, this was a scene, isn't it? I'm trying to remember. I know we've seen a couple of scenes where it's just a friend does. That's where I like they're breaking that up where you don't have to have a housewife in a scene. I like that we're breaking that up this season in regards to and what we're seeing in other cities as well. But I know there was a scene where it was just two friend doves. I can't remember. The live chat, you will remind me. All right. Let's get to the scene where Julia and Alexia go shopping. So they're going shopping for their trip. Alexia is excited to become friends with Julia. I don't know how genuine this want from Alexia is. I think Alexia, as I said before, she received a lot of backlash last season. So I think this season, very much like Erica on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she's trying to change the narrative. She's trying to get back into the good graces of the fandom. So she's trying to foster relationships with Dr. Nicole this season, you notice, and now Julia. But she says in this, and I kind of feel like maybe it's 50-50 here, but she says that she feels like Adriana has sort of kept her from garnering some sort of friendship with Julia, which I do believe. But she says that, she feels like there's a lot more to Julia, and she's really excited about getting to know her. And I could see that because as a Taurus, she's a Taurus. I can see that. We don't warm up to people very easily. It takes us some time. And maybe after a couple of seasons of filming with her, she's just like, oh, I think I kind of like Julia. And maybe she wants to foster that. Or does she have other intentions? I think she may have other intentions. I do. But when Julia brings up, well, maybe we could share a room together. And Alexia's like, I'm going to have to ask Todd permission and Marisol permission. It was a little awkward. It was definitely a little awkward. And of course, Julia's just like, what is this about? Is it because I'm a lesbian? Does she think I'm going to seduce her? Look, and it reminded me because I almost completely forgot because this happened off season. You remember what happened with Peter? We got to see a little bit of Peter in this episode as well. Peter was in my comment section because we had called out when he had talked about, I think it was Tinkerbell being, they had a black woman playing Tinkerbell. And he had made comments about it. So I had did a video talking about it. And then he was in my comment section. He was like, well, maybe you should be Tinkerbell. So am I surprised that Peter, who's saying things like that to an openly gay man on social media, am I supposed to be surprised that his mother is maybe possibly... Is it? I guess no. It's homophobic. Fear of homosexuals. Yes, it's homophobic. At first, I thought she was just being funny, and then she said it again. I gotta ask Todd. Ask Todd for what? You think that Julia's going to attack you in the middle of the night? This is what that whole phallic fear. They talk about gay men and straight men, and I always tell you, straight men, you should have more gay male friends. Just because a man's gay doesn't mean he wants you, especially some of the way that y'all look. Come on now. A lot of you could benefit from having a gay male friend, honestly. And look, it's stereotypical, but no, in a lot of ways, learning how to speak to your wives and girlfriends, gift giving, styling. Look. I'm just saying there are some benefits to having a gay male friend, and some straight guys that do have gay male friends. They will tell you like, no, I'm glad I have a gay male friend. They've helped me a lot, but a lot of guys don't because they have this fear that somehow this man is going to want them, and it's always the men that are interesting looking, I'll say, that believe that. It's like, really? You don't think? Have you seen the pool of gay men that are out here? You think? And look, don't get me wrong. There are some gay men that are highly attracted to the aspect of having a moment with a straight man. There are those people. However, this moment with Alexia and Julia was very interesting and weird. Because Julia, it'd be different if Julia was sort of someone that was overly flirtatious with someone and they made you feel uncomfortable. Julia's not that person. If she's flirtatious with anyone, she's flirtatious with her friends, like Adriana. And then I think it was Lisa last season that she was flirtatious with. But she does it if she feels like you are doing it with her. She's not going to, what do you think she's going to do? And why are we sharing rooms at all anyway, Miami? I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that. So Julia's sort of like, what is this about? What is this about? So the group goes to Jody's house to meet up so that they can all drive to Palm Beach for this girls' weekend. Beautiful home. Still, I'm going to say that. Beautiful, beautiful home. Lisa, so they all get into their Rolls Royces. I think they all were driving Rolls Royces. And all of them, but like the groups that were going. And Lisa's driving Lenny's Rolls Royce. Everyone assumed that it was Jody's. Marisol says, oh my God, I'm in Lenny's Rolls Royce. I need a blue light. Her commentary on what could be on the seat of that car is not far from the truth. Just saying. Look, we've heard things, allegedly. So apparently it was all in the news that Lenny filed documents against Lisa accusing her of attacking him. And he had his own sordid story of what Lisa did to him in their home when the police were called. But neither one of them were arrested because there wasn't enough evidence that there was anything that happened to either one of them. This is such a toxic situation. Luckily, she's no longer in that house right now. All right. So Marisol and Guerdy say that Jody's cool now. And we've talked about this. If you haven't watched any of our recaps of Real Housewives of Miami this season, we've been saying this about Lisa and Jody, since the top of the season. When we were saying, like, Lisa, stop complaining to this man about your divorce. Honestly, I don't even think Lisa should be really dating. However, a divorce like this one could take a long time. So, you don't want it to go to waste. And she met this man. So date. I also don't know if I would take it that seriously right now because you're literally coming out of a divorce. But the constant complaining to Jody, like she complains. It's not like she's randomly just keeping Jody up to date. Yeah, I have to go to court or do it. No, Lisa, we like you. All right. So we say this with love. I know you're sensitive. But Lisa, she's a Leo too. Leos are sensitive. We like you, Lisa. But I do see you as a complainer. I do find you to be draining emotionally. Oh, damn. How do I say this nicely? I'm not your friend. I don't care. I'm going to tell you how I view it. And I view you as draining. And I can see, yes, Jody has a lot of patience now, but I agree with Marisol and Guerdy. It's just like, you're doing too much. You're bringing too much baggage to this relationship. He already knows that there's a lot going on, but you should pull back on how much you complain to him and go to him. We literally see her calling him like, oh, and we get it. You're going through a lot, but call your therapist, call your girlfriend, call your mama. Don't call Jody. Jody is new. It's also not sexy, and I get it. You're going through a real thing, and you want him to be a part of it because you want to share life with him. But at the same time, he's Johnny come lately. He doesn't need that. Right now, he's great feeling like the martyr. I've come to save you. But who are you two without him being the martyr? Who are you two without this drama that you're going through? And Jody, that's something for you to think about as well. Once this drama's done, will she still be very much in love with you? Or vice versa? I feel like the entire cast is on the same page that you got to stop telling Jody about every single detail. She says, well, they tell their husbands about everything. Their husbands. This relationship is new. And I'm not saying that you can't be open and transparent with him, but this is a new relationship. This is not sexy. And I get it. This is real, what you're going through. But the way that Lisa shares this information with him is draining. It'd be one thing if she's just like, well, this is the update on what's going on. No, this is Lisa. I can't believe him. He's so incredibly terrible. I just don't know what I'm going through. And it's just, this is so wrong. And it's every other minute. Imagine someone calling you every single day, and I'm sure it's multiple times a day, complaining about this terrible man. And yes, he's a terrible man. However, girl, call your therapist. Call your best friend. Call your mama. Don't take it out on those kids. Them as well. They don't need to hear it either. All right? Even though I think they're very much aware. God only knows what those kids have seen and heard. Based on what we saw in this episode, they've heard enough. But this is not sexy to Jody, and I don't care what Jody says. Jody, I know you probably said, don't listen to him. I will be there for you. I really love you. Yeah, now, watch when all this stuff is over. That will be the true test. And I really do wish that for you. I wish that this relationship works. We want you to be happy and kept. And kept. All right? But girl, it's draining for us to watch too. The content. Shut up! I'm sorry. You ever had one of those friends? You never tell them shut up, but you in your head want to. Always complaining about something. And I get it. What she's going through is horrific. I know that Lenny is trash. I know he's not making this easy. But what am I supposed to tell you, Lisa? I agree with Marisol and Guerdy. And then she has a meltdown. She's just like, this is real negative. She doesn't want to hear it because I think there's a part of her that knows that it's true. I think there's a part of her that knows that maybe in some ways Jody has shown her that, okay, here she goes again talking about this. So she feels insecure. She feels like, oh my God, I mean, I'm sure they're not the first people to tell her. They're not. We've seen, I think Larsa is the one told her the same thing. And Alexia. So, yeah. So they tell her that in the car and they're like, and she doesn't want to hear it. And this is what makes this a great edit. Shout out to the producers and the editors. So while they're having this emotional conversation, Dr. Nicole with Julia and Adriana are dancing to no, it wasn't Juliana. It was, who was in that? Oh, Kiki. They were dancing to my fire. Larsa, Alexia, and Julia are Larsa's like, I don't think it's that hard to sing. Okay, Larsa. She's like, I don't think it's that hard. You wouldn't. Anyways. All right. So we get to this beautiful home that they'll be staying in for their girls' weekend. It's a beautiful home. Here's where Beverly Hills is top tier. And these women really are living those lives. You never see Beverly Hills ladies fighting over rooms. And it may be a little sad to see these ladies. And we've seen this in the first new season, when they came back after being away. We saw that they were fighting about rooms back then. You guys are supposedly, I don't know how much I believe all of you are, supposed to be a certain level. So I don't want to see our Miami housewives fighting over rooms. And why are they sharing rooms? They're all sharing rooms. But this is where Julia tells Adriana about what Alexia said, because she asked Alexia one more time. I don't know why Julia would do that to yourself. I'm only going to ask you one time. And mind you, I wouldn't have asked her, period. I'll ask you one time. So are we not sharing a room? Like, I don't need that rejection. So I'm not going to ask you again. And Alexia's like, no, I'm going to share a room with Marisol, which I figured is what she's comfortable with. But the connotation about, I have to ask Todd, if she never said that part, I think we probably would be like, oh, okay. She always shares a room with Marisol. Fine. And I'm sure that's what she'll say during the reunion. Sidebar, did you guys see the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion looks? I know a lot of you probably were waiting on me to do a short or something about it. I have to say, Mary Cosby was the best dressed for me, looking back at it. It was just sort of blah. Monica looked good, but it wasn't anything to write home about. Yeah, for me, Mary Cosby, although Mary Cosby looked demure, she was, for me, was like the best dressed of all the ladies. It wasn't impressive. Lisa, I don't know. Very boring. Very boring. Anyways, I mean, normally I would do a recap of the fashions, or at least a short video talking about the fashions, and maybe I will. Stay tuned. Be sure to follow me on TikTok at TheKempire, at at TheKempire on multiple platforms, both on Instagram and on Twitter. All right. So the ladies go running for their rooms. They go running for their rooms, which was an interesting scene to see. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, why are we running for rooms? Lisa and Larsa are sharing the primary suite, of course. Again, verifying for us how close they are and why Lisa was defending Larsa in this whole Guerdy situation. Guerdy's trying to avoid Larsa for the entire weekend if she can. All right. Poor Adriana thought, I'm going to take the elevator and I'm going to get there first. Mind you, she gets off the elevator. She has no idea where she is. And they end up getting the smallest room. Julia tells Adriana about the situation with Alexia. And Adriana's just like, I've been butt ass naked in front of Julia and she's never tried anything. Even though that was like the storyline, the first season after the reboot. About, is something happening between the two of them? Apparently not. And Julia's just like, I thought I was making a friendship with Alexia, but this whole situation, like, you think I'm going to attack you or seduce you in the middle of the night? It just seems weird and judgmental and, like I said, homophobic. That's homophobic. I just like... And you're supposed to be an LGBTQIA advocate, but we already knew that wasn't true with the transphobic comments you made. Was it last season? I can't even remember. I didn't expect this. However, I should have expected this. This is Alexia. Alexia, I know you're trying to revamp your image this season, but you can't help but be who you are, and it always comes through. It always comes through, and you don't even realize it. And you could have easily gotten away with this just by saying, oh, I got to ask Marisol. Marisol likes to share a room with me. She could have easily gotten away with it. But when you're ignorant, like this ignorant, this is the things that you say. I've got to ask Todd. Ask Todd? What do you think is going to happen? Maybe you're not even Julia's type. You seen Martina? Just say it. Anyways. Again, guys, for those that are watching the replay of this, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to let us, guys, all of you, those of you in the live chat, those of you in the replay, let us know how you would rate the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Miami. Are you feeling like Miami is still bringing it? How do you feel about the whole Guerdy and Larsa situation? How do you feel about the Julia and Alexia situation? How are you feeling about the season 6 of The Real Housewives of Miami? And as always, don't forget, we are still doing our 12 days of giveaways, and 2 lucky winners will have an opportunity to win $50 gift cards in the comments section. So just let me know what you thought of the episode, but also don't forget to let us know that you want to be entered in our 12 days of giveaways here for the holiday season. Again, happy Hanukkah to those that celebrate, and of course, happy holidays to everyone. We appreciate you all being here. Let's get out of here with a little music. I will see you all in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and hear the audio version of our podcast on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. And while you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating. Let's get to 200 ratings on both platforms. We're so close. So if you haven't rated us, be sure to rate us. And for those that are entering the giveaway, be sure to let us know that you went to Apple or Spotify and I gave you a 5-star rating. Thank you. All right, and live chat, don't worry. We will get back to doing giveaways for you in the live chat very soon. Okay? All right, y'all. I hope that you enjoyed this review, and I hope that you've been checking out some of the other things. Shout out to our members of the channel. We did post a special Beyonce review the day before yesterday. So be sure to check that out. And the audio version will be available, or at this point, it is available for those that are listening to this. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Thank you all for being here. Have a great rest of your Friday. I will see you all in the next one. Let's get out of here with some music.